Hello everyone. Today we will talk about metals and non-metals. Our nature has lots of elements, right? And we divided these elements into metals and non-metals. Clear? So this is the basic category of the division of these elements, right? And today we will talk about only metals and non-metals. Clear? So first of all, what is the difference between both the terms? So let's see how much you can know about the metals and the non-metals by the differences between both. Okay. So let's see what can be the differences between both the terms. Okay, so first of all we have metals. If they are mostly hard and shiny in appearance, and if we talk about the non-metals, they are not much so hard and they are dull in the appearance. So you know what students, when these metals and non-metals, they just combine to form a new substance, and that is known as metalloid. So what is the spelling when both these combined? Metalloids. Clear? So this is the basic difference between both the terms, but exceptions are everywhere. So they have exceptions also. For example, if we talk about the mercury, mercury is in liquid form, but it's a metal, right? And if we talk about the non-metal, so diamond is also non-metal, but it's a hard in nature, right? And now let's see what the electronic configuration about these non-metals and metals distinguish both the terms. So let's see. Okay, so what the electronic configuration says about all these three. So if we talk about the metals, when the valence electron is in the number of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 and 3, then the element is known as metal. And if we talk about the non-metals, then if the electronic configuration is 5, 6, 7, then it is said to be non-metal. And among all the 8 valence electrons, what we have left? 4 and 8. So if 4 and 8, your configuration, your electronic configuration comes, that means that particular element is known to be metalloid. So what can be the examples for these? First of all, metals like silver, tin. So these can be the examples for metals. And if we talk about the non-metals, then sulfur and phosphorus. Okay, and if we talk about the metalloids, what can be the metalloids in the nature? Like silicon, antimony. So these are called metalloids. Clear? So have you cleared the concept? If the valence electrons are in number of 1, 2, 3, then it can be the examples for metals. And if the valence electrons we have in the number of 5, 6, 7, then it is said to be non-metals. And if the 4 and 8 are there, that means they are known as metalloids. Okay. So I'm gonna take some examples to make this concept more clear. So first of all, we talk about the metals. The first one we are taking here, sodium. Okay, so we know very well sodium is a metal. So if we talk about the electron configuration of sodium, so what can be it? 8 and and here only one electron is in the valence shell. So this is lead to the metal. Clear? And if we talk about the non-metal, so here I am taking nitrogen, which nitrogen and its atomic number is 7, and 2 and 5 its electronic configuration, right? And 5 electrons are in the valence shell. So 5 is the number of electronic configuration which leads to make a non-metals. And if we talk about the metalloids, so here silicon I'm taking for an example, its atomic number is 14. Clear? So 2, 8 and 4. So if the 4 is there, that means the particular element is known to be metalloid. Clear? So this is the concept of metals, non-metals and metalloids. So metals, that means they are shiny in nature, and even the luster is also present in these kind of elements. But if we talk about the non-metals, they are non-lustrous elements in the nature. And metalloids, these are the combination of both these metals and non-metals, then they are lead to be metalloids. Okay. And if we talk about the definitions according to the electronic configuration of these, then what can be the definitions for this? So metals, these are the elements which form positive ions by losing electrons. So here electrons are given out. Okay. And if we talk about the non-metals, so these are the elements that form negative ions by gaining electrons. Clear? And metalloids, they are normally known as the elements having 4 valence electrons in the shell. Okay. So now move to our next topic, that is occurrence of metals. That means from where we can get metals. So first of all we have ores. So what are ores? So basically these are the rocks having metallic minerals in them, and we just extract these minerals from these rocks, okay, for our purposes. And the next one we have, so it is pronounced as gangue. Okay, so what is gangue? When two minerals are combined with each other and with having some impurities, then these are known as gangue. Okay, and the next one we have noble metals such as gold, silver. So these are the metals that are very expensive but not very reactive. Okay, and these are known as noble metals. Clear? And you know what? When the important minerals are extracted from these, then what the process is known as? That is known as metallurgy. What is called metallurgy? Okay, so metallurgy is just a extraction of the important minerals from these all three, like ores, gangue and noble metals. Okay. The next topic we have occurrence of non-metals and metals. Okay, so students, we have these metals, and so students, we have these non-metals and metalloids. So the first one we have hydrogen, and this is the most abundant element in our nature. Okay, and approximately 11% of its weight from water. Clear? And it is in combined state, that means it does not lie freely in the nature. Okay, and the next one we have nitrogen. So approximately 76% of nitrogen is in the air present. Okay, it reacts with oxygen in the atmosphere, then it forms these sodium nitrate and potassium nitrate. So these kind of nitrates it forms if it reacts with oxygen. And the another one we have oxygen. So oxygen's approximately 23% is in the air. Okay, and 89% of its mass form water. Clear? So when this oxygen and hydrogen, they just combined with each other and they form water, that is hydrogen and oxygen. Clear? And the next one we have carbon. So carbon is also very frequently found element, right? And approximately it is present 60 to 90% in the coals and the coal products, right? And the next one we have silicon, and this is the second most abundant element in Earth's crust, right? And it is it is not, and it's also in combined form, and when it reacts with oxygen it gives SiO3, that means silica, and even the silicates also, right? And the next one we have sulfur. It lies freely in the nature. Okay, and it can be found on Earth's crust and even on the rocks. Okay, in the form of some sulfates and sulfides as metal, and it gives hydrogen sulfide, right? And so these were the non-metals and metalloids and the occurrence of these, right? So students, next we have physical properties of metals and non-metals. So what are the physical properties of these? How can you say that the particular element is metal or non-metal or even the metalloid? Okay. So next we have physical state. So we know very well that physical state exists in three states, that are solid, liquid and gas, right? And here we are talking about the difference between the physical states of non-metals and non-metals. So first of all, in metals, if we talk about the metals, then they are mostly solid in nature, okay, but except the mercury. So mercury is in liquid state at room temperature, right? And that we use in the thermometers also, right? And in the other hand, the non-metals, so they can be in all the three states, okay, solids, liquid and gas, okay. And the next we have luster. What is luster? So basically luster means shining. So mostly metals are shiny in nature, so they are lustrous, right? And the non-metals, they are mostly dull in their texture, for except the graphite. So graphite is in lustrous nature, clear? And the next one we have hardness and strength. So the mostly all the metals are hard and strong except sodium and potassium. So these are the two elements which are not hard as much the other metals, okay. So non-metals are not hard and strong, but if we talk about the diamond, so it is hard in nature, clear? And the next one we have malleability and ductility. So first of all, what are these terms? So malleability, when a specific element is beaten and flattened, then it is used to make some sheets of that specific element, and that process is known as malleability. And ductility is the process in which we just stretch out the particular element to form long thin wires, okay. So this is ductility and malleability. So mostly metals, they are malleable and ductile, but in the case of non-metals, these are not malleable and ductile, they are brittle. That means they can break easily, clear? So students, these were the topics for today, and in the next video we will continue this topic, okay. Until that, you need to learn all these things which we learned today.